Hello everyone, and welcome. It's time for some Nioh. And yeah, last time we beat the Battle of Sekigahara. So this time, obviously we have to fight the giant yokai that appeared on it. Because of an Enochian spell. So small. Hello, Boo. How are you doing? Okay, body and strength on 13. We have our armor set now online. So the main problem we are facing is basically... Oh, we have a better... Oh, yeah, right. We have a better sword. I forgot. So, you know what? Let's just jump right in. I have no idea what tostados are. Ah. We're starting right where we left off, actually. Now there's some guy up here. Yeah, we don't really have that here. But doesn't sound bad. Ah, neat. Yeah, I don't even think we have that cheese here. Like, Mexican stuff is very rare here. Especially good Mexican stuff. how do I use that? It's I mean, there's usually other good stuff there, so... Hey, you on Smughead, how are you doing? Welcome! Okay. I don't get how I will be rid of those red pools. Oh yeah, okay, I think I get how I want to do it. Uh-huh. Oh, well, how do I get to you, Kodama? Huh. Around here, around here. Another shell shock Kodama. Go back to... least I didn't lose a lot of progress. Okay, so this is gone now. Okay. So, if I beat those, actually have a faster way. There we go. Whew. Oh, 63 glory. Hey, a little bit of progress towards playing as a girl. Huh. Okay, yeah. Can we get the W for women? Because they're very good. Do be appreciating women. Random shot from the side. Yay. Yeah, women are great. Da, 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 da. Okay, so can't imagine. It's too boring. Yes, Claire, this is Demon Sekigahara. Okay, I don't fully get this. Anyway, time to do this all over again, piece by piece. How are you doing, Claire? Fried sushi. Ooh, okay. Fried. I don't know. Sushi. The point of sushi is not being fried, you know? Yeah, but like, why? Why do you need to fry everything? and the Kodamas that were shell shocked and now just have to witness the other horrors. Mokodama! Why are you... What do you have for... What the hell are those parents frying everything? Like, don't get me wrong, I like fried food, but I'd probably also be a bit, No, I just wait. What the hell? Is this like a thing of, everything that isn't fried is, you don't eat fried food, you're a cuck or something like that? Sounds weird. I mean, again, I like fried food. I do fry some food from time to time as well. Like, for example, doing some katsu and stuff. But yeah. The fuck? Okay, now the game just swallowed some inputs. That's... Yeah. Like, I get picky eating, No. Like, you know, I get some stuff with like picky eating because you know, Agonia has some you know, it's a typical texture stuff, so you know, it's not like, you know, oh, only eat that. It's more of a, you know, oh hey, you know, don't make the potatoes too big. Yeah, textures is one thing, you know. Interesting. I know a lot of people do want, you know, homogeneous texture more than, you know, heterogeneity. So that's that. But always depends on the person, I would say. Heavily, actually. Okay. Okay. One problem out of the way. Next one is over there. Ooh. A shrine. Yay. Oh, okay. Actually, I can even level up. So, what should my next stuff get into? I could actually do some more heart. Or boost up strength and body to 15 so I can wear all armor sets. Or, you know, start... I could start putting up a bit in dexterity, so... maybe I do get hard to 50 first. do you think, chat? Should I first get body and stuff up so I can have the effects of more of the armor sets, or? Why not? I mean, it's basically just if I get body and strength up to 15, I should probably have all armor set bonuses working. For medium armors at least. So that's that. That's the thought behind that, by the way. So I could actually do strength first. It would give me a little bit of more damage. Oh yeah, I go hard. It would give me the most extra damage on my... Hard would give me the most extra damage on my main weapon. And I kind of need a bit more damage on my main weapon, I would say. So... yeah. Actually, yeah, let's do body and strength first, and then we can do hard later. Okay. Let's look a bit through those houses. Remember the first time Magonia played this game, she basically just ran down to the boss and killed it. Just ignored all of it. She didn't know the level. She didn't know the level at all. Like, fuck all. She just ran down and was like, fuck that skeleton. And killed it. I cannot count the times where she just did that in games in general. Like, hey, do you want to explore it? No, I want to kill. Goes on killing. Like, okay. Girl, you don't need to destroy everything all the time.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I know you have bloodlust. I think I have almost all of them. Hey, Kodama in the fireplace. Very shell-shocked. Too happy for that. Smiling because there's no other option. Okay. I guess it's time for the descent then. Oh. Oh yeah, he does not like fire, yes. I, I hate the fact that the... Okay. Okay, I do not know where the hands fall down. That's the problem. Oh. Yeah. I waited with the last leg just because this was easier. Bait the hands, then you can easily do legs. Hey, we have him down. Whew. Yeah. Ah, nice. So, well, what a bright day it is now. Oh yeah. I hope you all had a nice start into the week. Actually, if you're interesting thing happened today. I finally have a profile picture on my project on Blue Sky. Thanks to one smart cat who's in the chat, who totally underestimated herself in how fast she can make a picture. Good work, still. Yeah, she's very tired. Oh, we have another region in front of us. Which I don't care because we have more missions to do. Side missions, that is. Yeah, body on 15. There we go. Then we do this. Then we pick up strength next, and then we boost heart. So, then, by the way, if you have any questions about it, just ask. You know what? At least there are some good news in the world. So, you know, after Microsoft just gutted a lot of projects because Microsoft is the worst as of now. Romero Games has now, posted on Blue Sky that they're not closed. It's just their funding is gutted, and they can't say who it was. But you know, people kind of know from public information. But also that apparently multiple publishers have reached towards them to still bring the project over the finish line, which would be great. I have to say though, it would be okay. Microsoft cancelled a whole lot. Closed studios, gutted basically whole development teams, cancelled projects all over the place because Microsoft is just the worst. Microsoft is still bad because, you know, it's just a whole, they're not making money, so, you know, they're always spending a shit ton of money on new projects to be like, look, we're doing so much, and then, you know, Fuck all. Anyway, but yeah, Romero Games was affected by that, and you know, at least they say that studio is not closed, and I'm very happy that they say, oh yeah, there are publishers saying we want to bring them over the finish line. Again, it would be very funny if, you know, the funniest shit would just be if Sony picked up that project. Like, it would just be very, very funny. But, yeah. And meanwhile, apparently, Ubisoft edited their, you know, Euler. But also, the post that's going around that talks about that is so fucking funny because it literally sums up why Nintendo fans are, like, the most idiotic people on the planet. Like, the thing is... Basically, they kind of added in that, you know, oh, the Euler is void if they stop supporting the game, and then you have to uninstall it or destroy it, which is like, listen, buddy, I don't even know if that's fake, because like, I can tell you that thing will never fucking. You have read it yourself, or is this just because the post said so? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, basically, apparently, it's just, again, there's this post that claimed Ubisoft made it so that, you know, you have to apparently, yeah, that's the thing. Apparently that's the case. I have not been able to verify that yet, so I'm very cautious, because also the post that throws that around is basically saying this is something people claim Nintendo would, I mean, yeah, I can totally see that, but also, like, that's, like, something that would never fly in any country. Like, even now? Like, just, no. You can't demand that of people. Again, that just makes it so fucking funny, which is, like, this feels in some form fake, and people just, been sharing it now because, you know, stop killing games in Ubisoft and shit, but, like, again, weird. But also the funniest part about this is that the post says, oh yeah, probably, that, like, you know, that people are like, that the post said, oh, this is something people say Nintendo would do, and I'm just sitting here being like, on which planet, my man? That's the thing. When I talk about Nintendo has the worst fan base, it's because of that. That claim is horse shit. No one ever said or demanded anything like that about Nintendo. Never in any reality. But if you're a Nintendo fan, you know what Nintendo fans have? A victim complex. They're always the people under attack, no one understands them, and, you know, the moment they have one, you know, they see one, you know, chance to just get the, you know, the image up again, you know what? Let's just make a straw man so dumb. Maybe some people will fall for that. Just throw it in there on something where people would retweet it anyway. Yeah, again, it's like, oh, this is something people would say Nintendo would do, and it's like, no. I mean, here's the thing. Nintendo would fucking do it, because, like, let's just be real here, Nintendo has still been pushing, like, some of the worst anti-consumer shit in recent times. You know, after a lot of companies have ditched it, that is true. So they would do it if others tried it too. But, like, no one says Nintendo wants you to destroy their games. Like, again, what kind of insane straw man is that? Also, again, yeah, Nintendo is the leading is like leading right now in anti-consumer practices. I'm sorry, they are. Like, I'm sorry, they oversell their games. game key cards are horrible. And like, here's the thing. While I can totally say, hey, Microsoft is a very close second because, you know, they keep throwing their games out on their own console with just codes in a box, but the Mario Switch collection is bad, yeah. And you know what the worst part about it is? I still fucking bought it. And I just feel kind of shit for that. But also like, yeah, fuck you. Oh no, hey, have like 3 3D Mario games at least available. I just hate that. Like, here's the thing. Yeah, I could actually, you know what? Good for you. I think the worst part here is more like we are like, I mean, we have a bunch of stuff from Nintendo here because we have like a lot of consoles, but like, and like, you know, Agonia had a bunch of Nintendo consoles when she grew up. I didn't, aside from the handhelds, actually. Somehow from my side, just more N64s keep turning up in our household, though. I do not even understand how. We just, like, I came back from my parents, I was like, yeah, they had an N64 lying around, like, and she was like, what? Like, yeah, there was an N64. Ours has a broken input, isn't it? Yeah. But you have an expansion pack. Yeah. Let's just use that one. So we now have 2 N64s for some unholy reason. Yeah. Is Agonia making him? No. Actually, I got those. I got that one from my family. It's just so my parents was just like, yeah, they just had another one lying around for some reason, and they were like, what are you doing with that? Otherwise, no. From my end, I can proudly say, from my end, I did at least in terms of consoles, I contributed PlayStations to this household. Like, we technically have a PS2, I just need to get it from my parents. But yeah. You know, we have a PS2, we have a PS3, and I mean, I have a launch PS3, you know, the one that can play PS1 and PS2 games, I just technically need to check if I basically should buy a PS2 game again at the store and just check how well that works on the PS3.
It's the most important PlayStation game anyway.
Wait, which one?
Digimon World.
I know, Digimon World. We even have the sequel.
Yes.
Which you only had because I got a PS4.
But it's not Digimon World, you know?
Yeah. I have Digimon World. We could play that again, but like, yeah, they can all play PS1 games. Yeah, but also, I need to check which one can play the PS2. I know some have problems with PS2 games. That was the point. Yeah, the bulky ones are are the launch ones. They sized them down a bit, but we did play PS1 games on it already. To be precise, Heart of Darkness. And funnily enough, the stuff that happened there was because Agonia wanted to show me Heart of Darkness, so she played through it. We got no, Claire. This isn't basically. They put a whole PS2 in the launch PS3. That was the only way how they were able to achieve backwards compatibility. Like, because the launch PS3 is an insane console. Four PS2s, wow, that's basically a PS6 if you tag them together. A PS2 is great. Like, yeah, I have a launch PS2. Is MIPS? What do you mean with MIPS? But yeah, no, that's one of the reasons why the PS3 is weird IBM Power PC. Yeah, because, okay, the PS3, as I said before, weird thing because they had that cell processor and basically graphical units from NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA fucked them over. Don't get me wrong. And the problem was the cell architecture, insanely powerful, more powerful than what, basically any other console had to, even today to a degree. Problem is just, how the fuck do you access all that power? Because, I kid you not, at launch, Sony gave out handbooks in Japanese. Again, if you know what to do with it, you could make insane games. Which is like, I can only say, if you look at the end of Xbox 360 games versus end of, the end of PS3 games, it's like, you had, like, Halo 4 was beautiful, don't get me wrong. But you also saw, holy shit, that game is a corridor to save performance. It's not running the best. It's looking really good for the Xbox 360. And then you put Uncharted 2 and 3 and The Last of Us besides it, and you're like, yeah, holy shit, those games are just destroying it still. Yeah. So that's an interesting game. Like, I mean, okay, you know what? The funniest part about that is, so remember how the PS2 was on some import ban list because there was the whole, they're so powerful, Saddam Hussein could use them to create missile control. Yeah, so when the PS3 launched, the US Army was like, Air Force specifically, was like, yeah, we need to have some, basically a supercomputer to have a lot of complex calculations. Problem is, that hardware is expensive as fuck. Like, one motherboard with chip custom made that they needed was like over thousands of dollars. But ironically, the cell processor in the PS3 was like literally the thing that was designed in such a way that you could very easily do all the complex calculations on them, and the PS3 just, yeah, that's just $600. Like, you know what? Here's the thing. Again, that is $699, also $700. That is bad for consumers. But when you're the military and you're basically looking at, hey, should we spend billions for custom-made hardware, or do we buy 1,760 PS3s and chain them together into a supercomputer? You buy 1,760 PS3s and chain them together into a supercomputer, which they did because PS3s were able to run Linux. Yeah, that era had so much weird backstabbing going on. Like, one of the reasons Microsoft also stayed with AMD during that time was basically NVIDIA screwed them on the original Xbox, and they were like, yeah, no, we're going with AMD this time. And then Sony was like, oh, hey, NVIDIA is making us a good deal, and guess what? They screwed them over. And then, yeah. From then on out, it was AMD ever going forward because oh. Yeah, I mean, honestly... I get why Nintendo's using it, yeah, because, you know, they basically like, no, we're using off-the-shelf stuff. So, ironically, Nvidia couldn't fuck them over in that regard as much. So, that's that. Yeah. Like, the thing is, if they ever would do another home console, it would be, it would 100% be, how's it called? An AMD one as well, because, duh. Yeah. Wait, this is turning into hardware talk. Lol. After I talked about how Nintendo fans have a victim complex and kind of need to make everything about themselves. Because, you know, they're the poor Nintendo fans. That now the whole world just... They just attack their poor company by making up anti-consumer practices. I don't think we're ever going to put it... Yeah, they're out of that market. Like, this isn't even... Oh no, Nintendo... It's like, there is no handheld market. So, yeah. No, that's not the point. They would have the money for that. The point is more like, it just makes more sense. Like, that's blatantly it. There is no, how's it called? There is no room in the big console market. Oh god, assembly. Like, oh well. Hey, that ninja's poisoned. Oh god. Yeah. I mean, why did you do it? I mean, yeah, that's what I said. Like, you know, there is no one in the handheld market except them, and that's good. Like, I mean, look at how the console market turned out. No matter how much money they threw at it, Microsoft is a footnote. Yeah, fair. I think the funniest bit about that is that Microsoft's new strategy is just Steam Machines 2.0, like from leaks, and you just sit there being like, everyone's like, this is so genius, and I just sit there being like, Valve did that 10 years ago, you dumb fucks! Ah!
If Microsoft were a bit more hands-off, they could do way better games.
You know what? Yes. Like, here's the thing. If Microsoft literally just let their studios do shit, like just had a bunch of studios, gave them time and money, and maybe literally managed the work culture well, they had a good output. I do not think they would be able to compete, but they would be a good publisher. Period. The thing is just, and this is a thing I want to point out. What makes a good publisher, okay? You're either good at two things that makes you a good publisher. Either you know what is currently popular and how to that's the thing I wanted to get to, by the way. It's either you give a studio, either Oh no, that's actually the opposite. I do not know who told you that, but quite literally, remember when Remedy made a lot of games with Microsoft? They micromanaged a shit ton. They're still doing it. Like, Scalebound fell together because basically they looked at Horizon Zero Dawn being popular and were like, oh, can you maybe make it a little bit more like that? And this literally let them just fall through. They are micromanaging a lot, actually, and this is why a lot of their deals only last for like a few times. But yeah, the thing is, again, the point here is that if a good publisher has two things basically, needs to be good at two things. Either of two things. Either it's you have a really, really good nose on what makes a good game, what is currently popular in the market, where's a niche in the market, and what can you exploit well. This is hard, by the way. Like, I'm not going to say that, I'm just going to say it because you sometimes can just be off by a very small margin, and it's the difference between success and just absolute failure, as we saw last year, because again, I want to point out, you can see in hindsight why Concord failed, but the overall notion of there is an opening in the market for, an Overwatch style game wasn't wrong. It's just, the point was they missed the part that people wanted literally just Overwatch again with identifiable characters, just very slightly different, but literally just Overwatch again. This is why Marvel Rivals succeeded. The other thing that you could be really good at as a publisher is finding the people that actually can do that. And this is easier, but also, again, holy shit, do you need to have a good social connection circle? It was kind of years late because games take years to... I mean, again, I just want to point out, in the same year where Concord failed, a hero shooter was like the biggest multiplayer game of the year besides, well, fucking Helldivers 2, which is interesting because, like, when Concord failed, everyone said there is no market for live service games. Why don't they see that? But two live service games were like two of the biggest games of the year. So what are you all talking about? This is like wrong. It's just you need to figure out what do people want to play actually. And again, this is hard. Second, how do you find people that can actually make good games? And I think this is another thing that deteriorated over the last years because the bigger the market gets, again, this is why I would say the second part is harder, because if you have people that can actually make, games on budget and time, for example, Kojima is a good example. He basically announced Death Stranding 2, and the game is like under 5 years, from what I know. Like, yeah, they reused stuff and such, but like this was good management. He knew what he wanted to do, but also like he's basically doing his own game. Again, you do not need to have big bloated big budgets and time frames, because that is always usually kind of a failure of things. The thing is just finding these people and keeping them is hard. This is, by the way, why, and I can guarantee you that, Vince Zampella got such a high position at EA. Because the thing is, the moment they realized, wait, that guy still has juice. Like Titanfall, niche title that they kind of flopped, but they wanted them in the company. And then Apex Legends, mega hit. Then Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order, both gigantic hits that year. They were like the second most sold game that year. They made a lot of money. So obviously they were like, no. This person needs to manage things. He knows that shit. And this thing, knowing who you put at the head of studios, who do you get into design positions, that is hard. But also, there's another thing, like a lot of companies nowadays work more on a I know you, or you have connections and so you rise up position. And like if you ever wondered why some games just feel very bland, like here's the thing, everyone says games are communal efforts, which is true, but a lot of games are only passable because the people at the top get basically prevented from doing worse things. Yeah, that's also what happens. And like, I mean, another game I want to point out that I feel, again, I cannot say this was definitely the point, but it feels very much like that, is whoever the fuck made Payday 3. Because what happened to the first year and, how the lead designer behaved and all of that is like, by the way, barely having any playtime in Payday 1 and 2. And that game came out, it was just ass. Like, over-focusing on one design change that was, from Battle Royale games, had no business being there, was just kind of ass, but like, yeah, I guess we do that. And like, if you're wondering, will I still cover Payday 3? I don't know. There's an update right now. I could do that, but if I want to show you the full package, I would need to spend, now on sale, $8. Not gonna do that. If you truly want me to suffer through Payday 3 again, feel free to bankroll that, but I cannot guarantee you anything. Isn't old Starbreeze guy just a tech bro? I mean, yeah, I guess. Like, I'm not even surprised. There was a lot of shit behind that studio, but here's the thing. I don't think that this was preventable, because Payday 2, and you need to keep in mind, Payday 2 had a very troubled history, okay? So basically, it was, it came out and it had problems. I'm not going to beat around the bush, but Payday 2 was very, very interesting mechanically, because it was basically a very light, slightly modernized take on, Deus Ex in a lot of mechanics, made for co-op. It was basically Deus Ex light co-op for heisting, which, kind of makes sense, because this guy that designed it is like, he's pretty good at design. Like, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. That's like, also, I should, by the way, point out, he's following me on social media, and I talked a lot about him, so yeah, maybe I'm biased there, but, still. David Goldfarb knows how to design games. Again, it wasn't perfect. Not at all. A lot of ideas in the beginning were, like, well-meant, and then the execution just kind of failed, but the mechanics were solid. So the thing that turned Payday 2 around was, they just cleaned that up. Basically, when they were like, okay, hey, maybe we shouldn't lock you into a very static skill build in like one character you have. Maybe you should be able to play around more with the system, and then some essential stuff gets thrown into a perk system, and the perk system provide another, like a slight variation, so you can actually tailor the playstyle a bit more. And you're like, hey, this is cool. And so Payday 2 just, from that really strong basis, developed into a good game. Then they had the whole thing with the mind dump by the shooting for some reason. Question on what this is basically more like, on what difficulty did you play? Because I can tell you, Payday 2 is very boring in terms of shooting on lower difficulties. It's basically, at least for us, DSOD is where it's at. If you have a DSOD build, that's like the best fun you can have. It's really good then. This is, by the way, also why I played through we also played Vermintide 2 at launch, and this one was like even funnier because like it was so hard you didn't play any other level than the first to grind loot.
And they patched it.
Then they patched it, which was probably for the best, but also like it just kind of ruined a bunch of the stuff. So yeah. Shockingly, we did really like Back 4 Blood after they fixed it. That was shockingly fun, actually. Anyway, again, the thing with Payday 2 is more like, again, really high difficulties, and if you know how to play it, it's way more interesting. But because of the RPG stuff. But again, the point was here. Then they had the whole microtransaction problem thing, loot boxes. Then later they cut that out again. And then they had development problems because, there was this whole Overkill's The Walking Dead game, if you remember how that flopped.
Do you have no missions anymore?
What?
Do you have no missions anymore?
I still I just want to finish this when I'm doing the next mission.
Okay.
And basically, they kind of were in a... you need to keep in mind, afterwards, a lot of the original staff split already. They kind of had the problem of... basically, there's sound designer and a lot of designers left to do, I think, 9 chambers, with GTFO. They generally just lost a lot of the old... David Goldfarb went earlier and made his own studio. A bunch of people left. The only person that really was still there was Almir. And Almir took up the helm. And they were like, hey, let's save ourselves by just making some paid DLC again, some paid heists, and maybe throw in a cosmetic system, maybe release a few more perks, stuff like that. And they were really good. Like, don't get me wrong, Border Crossing Heist, you could maybe say is one of the... It's not even bad. Like, it's recycled assets, sure, but like, made on a budget, cool stuff actually. And then they kept going for the next years. They started to churn out, in my opinion, some of the best levels in the game actually. Like, Payday 2, at the end of its life cycle, it was over officially. They went and whipped out, I think, 12 more heists. And they're all really good. Like, that team threw out some really good stuff. Like from, just some new interesting mechanics, new locations, new characters. They found someone who was really good at doing the music. Like, the same year Payday 3 came out, they released the Crude Awakening heist. And it was really good. Like, we streamed that, we played that, and we all were like, damn, this game ended on such a high note that they really showed they can still pull it off. Just with new ideas, fresh ideas, it just kept being a good game. And then Payday 3 launched and it was nothing like that. Just the worst heists in the game, in the series. Like, the most mid to boring heists in the series. No creativity. You had to stand in circles to get Wi-Fi for your fucking CrimeNet waifu. I know. No, seriously. An objective is you stand in a circle to load the Wi-Fi. It's so bad. And just The RPG was stripped, the shooting was stripped down. It is so confusingly bad. Again, someone got at the top and designed a game that is so bad in terms of mechanical oversight. It's just like, I cannot imagine who they yeah. Payday 3 is comically bad. And you know what the funniest part is? Almir was still with the studio. He was community manager, sure, and then kind of went into the, designing the Payday 2 stuff, like the oversight. You'd think, I'm not fucking kidding you. And you think, oh hey, Almir probably is overseeing Payday 3 also, because he did such a good work with 2. No, he didn't. Until, 1 year into the game, where they were like, yeah, you know what? The current lead designer stepping down. After attacking people. And his girlfriend just being kind of a shithead online. And like... I mean, here's the thing, literally, if you go after a YouTuber that is like known for being the nicest guy around, and like, I know, but like, he's legitimately one of the nicest people, and he always tried to see the positive in everything, and she just was like, oh, he's just trying to make our life hell. Everyone's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's just like, holy shit. I mean, BioWare had some good people there, but yeah, they needed look how the Kodama is hanging onto the side. You go, little one. Look at him struggling. Oh my god, this is so cute. Kodamas are so cute. Anyway, Payday 3 is insanely just bad, but I will keep that for if I ever stream that game again, because again, I covered everything. Yeah, I don't know. I probably won't spend $8 on that. If you're interested, feel free to send some misery my way. But yeah. I'll be honest with you. From all I know about BioWare, is that BioWare is a studio that had to be split into 2 studios years ago. Period. I'm not even kidding when I say that. This isn't like, this is just like, because when, devs themselves say that the Dragon Age team and the, Mass Effect team are basically 2 different, studios and have different design ethos and different everything. And they routinely clash when it comes to how they should make the game. Fucking split the studio. Yeah, like, I mean, they also just had shit like, how was it called? Oh, hey, you have, you make this a live service, and they're like, okay, we have a good idea, and then, a few years later, they're like, hey, we work this into a single player, and they're like, how? It's more shocking that Veilguard came out and was, as good as it was, apparently. But still. And even then, again, they had the typical BioWare problems, as in, oh, hey, Mass Effect team, can you please help out the Dragon Age team? Mass Effect team is very shitty about the fact that Dragon Age team is writing fantasy. Like, cool move. That's true. Anyway, yeah, when it comes to design, it's like design having a good focus is one thing. Like, yeah. Again, the thing is that nowadays you definitely need to have just a better pipeline in terms of how you make games, actually. And I do think that is where most, you know... I haven't played Split Fiction. I do think I maybe should at some point try that as studio's output, but... yeah, the BioWare teams definitely should be split. The problem is just that I think that this logical conclusion is just the problem with it would be an image suicide that EA probably doesn't want. Like, here's the thing, spin-off studios are one thing. Saying, oh hey, we're splitting off a major studio into 2 studios. Do you know how many people were pissed about them gutting Westwood after Westwood just basically made only really shitty RTS games? People care about names, and when it's like, hey, BioWare isn't making you know, both things anymore. People get pissed. Unreasonably pissed. Fall down, idiots. Yeah, the whole, you know, if something is wrong is like hard to pass, and what can be, you know, what is a good, you know, what works, what not. That is hard. Yeah. Well, Creative Assembly is their own type of shit show, actually. Like, let's not start with them. What do you mean with waterfall-style project management?
The one can communicate upwards, I guess.
That could be, Bonk. Yeah, that's like, you know, having a good idea is one thing. Finding out what works and what not is another thing. I get you. And like the waterfall model is like you could say sometimes it works, but that's rare. Yeah, fair. So, yeah, from what I know, CD Projekt was one of those, oh, hey, we just need to rewrite everything all the time. And, like, I'm not... That's the thing where I'm like, when people are like, oh, the original Witcher people are making a new game. How good is it gonna be? I don't know. Probably solid at best. Because they do not have the money and time anymore for which, like, they had with Witcher 3. Yeah, I do get what you want to me, what you mean in essence. So, no worries about that. You know, the problem is just sometimes shit works in development and sometimes not. Yeah, like, I mean, I think the irony about that is that this actually, I think, especially in recent years, you know, like, what I feel happened is that a lot of, you know, like a lot of devs had that, you know, old model, and they were like, oh, you know, we're planning everything, and then, yeah. I mean, Sakurai made a really good series on how to do that, like finding things, how to communicate, etc. And also, like, I always say Sakurai's games feel like so good because, I mean, it's a minor thing, but like, he keeps doing Q&A on his own games constantly. Kojima as well. And you can see that in how they feel in the end. Oh well, but yeah. The thing is, what I feel happened here is that, like, a lot of studios probably were burned out on the ideas of, you know, oh, you know, we have all this plan and then, you know, stuff doesn't work and they just, you know, basically crunched through the whole game all the time. That they were, you know, they wanted to have it differently, which I do get, by the way. But, like, considering that the news of, how's it called? Are you working in the industry? Just a bit curious here. Because, like, yeah, that's always, like, I mean, if you can picture shit, it's one thing. Like, but that is not, you know, especially for video games, that's a different thing, you know, like, for example, like, I can tell you very specifically, for example, what kind of feeling I can envision for something, but crucially, I cannot tell you if that was nailed if you don't actually play it. Ah. Okay. Yeah, because, like, for example, when it comes to TTRPGs, okay? Like, TTRPGs is just a bit of, you know, you can have good visualization of everything in the process. Is this a submission? What do you mean with that, Claire? I'm a bit
The submission.
Oh yeah, this is a submission. Spacing. It's very useful. This is quite this side mission, yeah. Yeah, it's like, the thing is, again, I would say when it comes to TTRPGs, I can generally have a good idea how, you know, combat and stuff works out. But, yeah, when it comes to games, no, that doesn't as easily translate. So I'm generally, like, a bit... Aha! Good. Good! I mean, that's just a thing of, you know, at some point you just need to set on something and be like, that's it now, you know? I don't think it is visually playing out as well, sorry. Kodama to the rescue. Yeah, we finally have our shrine. Hooray. Let me in room. Stealing a line from Agonia here. Oh, who are you now? Game design as a search. I mean, yes, I get it, but like, then again, I do think sometimes in the indie scene, and like, not shitting on that, because like, I know there are some indie games I absolutely adore. They're like my favorite. But there's also like a lot of indie games that I feel are very, they miss the mark in some points, and like, but more in the sense of, it feels very much like some people watched a lot of, GDC talks, wrote it down as gospel and never really thought about, hey, how am I supposed to actually take this, interpret this? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what I would say, and that I noted, one thing I noticed a lot is that, an extremes of and things too. Yeah, like the thing is, it's probably fair to say that I might be a bit, well, like if I learned one thing is that there are a lot of people, especially in who no. I will go further down. Okay, so that wasn't the main boss? My item box is full. What are you saying here?
You didn't sell shit.
What?
You didn't sell shit.
Yeah, I mean, I might have forgotten that. Kodama. It's gone. Who cares? I need to get some shit. I throw some bad shit out. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't watch out for everything. Actually, I think I can get another level, can't I? Okay, this one is apparently the boss room? You fucker again! Okay. What was he weak against? Electro, I think? Okay. It's fucking bird guy again. It wasn't the Onryoki, it was the fucking bird guy. Hey, Lena, how are you doing? But yeah. I think everyone is weak to hit points reaching 0. I think I'm doing more damage against him now, but like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why did the stab didn't trigger this time? It's like, what's a bit stupid about him is sometimes just like, yeah, you make an attack, but off. There we go. There we go. He has a great rifle. I actually didn't sneeze right now. Ah, nice. Okay, so he literally just protected some weak guy in the back room. That was okay. That was not bad. But yeah. Hey. Okay, so we have everything here. Right. We don't have everything here. So let's start wrapping up some missions. That fucker. Yeah, I'm going back to this guy. Oh, right, I should have sold some stuff. Ah, you did it too. This wasn't fast enough, Claire.
Still your fault.
What?
Still your fault, though.
I know, I know. I was too excited to just do shit. Okay, yeah, you're right. Let's have some inventory cleaning. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything better now? I should have built a Tonfa build. There's Nioh's Tonfa. It's a bit wrong in the spelling, but just saying. I totally take that then, yes. That's the first one. Those. Dun 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 dun. 2 times the Raven Wing rifle, even. Damn. Better longbow, I will take that. Do I have a bit better Kingo armor? No. I don't think I can actually put... What the fuck is that? Maybe I actually should get skill up. You mean I should change my armor set? That I could, but like... For frontline, I would need to get the skill up and such, so that's always a bit dumb. Actually, I can probably do this. Next levels are going into skill. What? Oh god, yeah, no, that's always like, that's always a big no-go. Nah, I can boost up skill. That's not the problem. I just need to have more Rita. That's not a big deal, you know? It's just a few more levels in skill. Now I'm looking very stylish. There we go. Fuck you. Yeah, I mean... That's... Wow, that definitely is very disgusting. The Industrial Revolution... You know, the thing is... These people... I don't know. Like... You know what the worst part about all of this always is? It's the fact that... Like... Ever thought about how the whole tech revolution in terms of PCs really just created the worst people imaginable. Oh yeah, they do. Like, here's the thing. If I can say one thing with absolute certainty, then that is, like, I am bad at programming, period. I never learned it, despite what I wanted. Well, that was a duel, I guess. Also, looking back to, yeah, like the thing is, I do think a lot of people, you know, like, it's a thing. Yeah, like, it's a thing. I do think, but a red demon armor. Yeah, but they're bad. They're just low level, you know? Like, the thing is, to be good at programming, you need to have a very special mindset, I would say, and skill set. And this is fine. This is, like, again, something you kind of want to, you know, do. But, and here's the thing, here's the fucking irony. They do not want to be seen as just programmers because they think, I can program, you know, I can work with computers on a deeper level. I can do anything. They always think their ability to work with computers makes them the right people to do everything in society. And this is why I would say a lot of people in high design positions, especially nowadays, get there because they get entry-level jobs because they're programmers, but they can't design for shit. But they want to be designers because here's the thing. Programming is a job you need to do. Designing, that's prestige. And holy shit, if you look at the whole, everything programming and tech dudes did over the last decades, then that is that they want to have the prestige artistic people have. They are utterly obsessed with that. This is why we have Gen AI right now. Because one of the reasons they want to do that, and they kept saying we're putting you out of work, is they are legitimately so petty that they want the prestige, but they can't. They just simply can't. But not just programmers and some people. Yeah. It's just... Sorry to be a bit of a bummer. Yeah, they want the prestige of what I've heard. But, like, I think there's a bit of a deeper thing. Oh, sure, a lot of dudes are like that. But the thing is that I do think it's not even about the whole effort part. don't. I think the programmers are just very bad at this specifically.
I think you should be a bit more specific because you generalize a lot right now.
Okay. Yeah, the you know, the more people are like, especially in like students' position, I think that is a thing that a lot of them do. Let me just focus on this fight here. Oh, come on! Onryokis can still kill very fast. What the fuck was that hit point? I'm sorry, he just slapped me over half the map, basically. It just, you know what, at that point I just like, I looked to the side, I was like, oh yeah, I have this fight, no. Oh hey, I go 2 arrows back. It's just an Onryoki, she said. I just do it. Easy in, easy out fight, she said. I dodged! Fucking stop eating my inputs, game! Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone's day was so far nice. No! Oh my god, I lost all the Amorita. The fucking just no. I'm just really fast right now. Fuck you. I made waffles yesterday at 3 AM because Agonia was like, I want waffles. That was interesting. And I have finally profile picture on my project on Blue Sky, so... There we go. Who are you? Who are you, actually? Like, who is that guy that just shows up? You know that one on the Ryoki fight where just some guy comes with an axe? And he just knows you? And it's like, we're like Nioh? I don't get it. It would be very... it would be kind of funny if that was... what? Oh, right. Sakata Kito. Oh, I'm dead now. Oh yeah, so there was just a crossover in the... there was a crossover to the realm of the dead. He just came through it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nice to meet you. I am dead. Yes. So let's look at the next region, actually. The Battle of Sekigahara divided Japan in two, split between East and West. After Kobayakawa Hideyaki's defection, the tide of battle swung suddenly in Tokugawa's favor, and victory was soon claimed. The ensuing chaos of Twilight quickly faded, and now the time has come to reward the glorious deeds of all those who played their part. Yeah. But yeah, check out that new profile, that no profile picture that Once More Cat / Red Gato made. Wait, that's not us anymore.
霧に苦しめられましたが東軍へと馳せ参じ獅子奮迅の活躍。
Yeah, that's sorry.
わしも手はずを整えたらすぐに後を追います。
Changed outfits.
I'm going to.
I'm rocking light armor now. Oops. I'm wearing so much Kingo outfit that they got bamboozled.
逃れる石田勢を追って沢山の城へと軍を進めた。じゃがわしらの探るところ、三成殿はケリーめと共に伊吹山へと落ちたようだ。ウィリアム、お主は天海殿と共に伊吹山へ向かえ。敗軍の将とはいえ、三成殿は油断ならぬ男。気を引き締めて参るのだ。
Thanks for the insult, Hanzo, das Pink. Yeah. But okay, now I think we're in the final area of the base game. And we only have a main mission, a defiled holy mountain. Again, soonish. Next up, we will be leveling skill. Maybe I should respec. It's not the dumbest idea, actually.
Why?
Just so I get skill up instead of body and heart. I should get them all up, actually. So I can use the armor sets better. And hey, maybe I'm finding more Kingo armor anyway. But hey, not gonna do another main mission today. We're gonna do that tomorrow. Because tomorrow is Tuesday and we will be doing some more stuff, you know, some more Nioh there. Yeah. They're not using strength at the moment after all. Fair point, but like, I did it more so you know, there are some medium armors that use strength, so, you know, I put it up so I can still use them well when I get the set. That's the point.
We're generalizing programmers, by the way.
Yeah, okay. I just say, like, I felt there are, I always feel like I met a lot of people in programming, at least, also in online space, that I think they always had, like, certain takes on game and game design that are just very, like, uncreative, I would say. Or, you know, not being able to break out of very rigid thinking, as, like, you know, someone said something and this was taken as truth, and so it's going to be repeated like on and on and on. Like, again, for example, there's sometimes some GDC talks that are like, you'd watch them like, this is good, and then you see a lot of games afterwards, especially, for example, in the indie scene, come up and you're like, wow, you didn't take the right points from that. Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, one of the best things I think that ever happened is someone I had contact with who went absolutely fucking bonkers over me because I told them you can update the gameplay of Resident Evil 4 in a remake, which is true. You can update the combat of Resident Evil 4 in a remake because they did. And then he kept just saying, no, you can't, Dad, the engine is stalled. And I kept telling him, I'm not talking about the engine or technology or anything. I'm talking about gameplay updates. And he just refused to acknowledge what I said. And it's like, this is so stupid in hindsight. Hello. Sorry, I do not understand Spanish. Or Portuguese. I do not know which one is what. So yeah, that one was dumb. Holy shit. And it's a lot of times I feel like that people end up in very static ideas about how design works, and not like, okay, how can you like vary in that? Like what is the right, you know, the right mix of things? Where can you deviate? Like how can you mix up a formula and make it more interesting? And I think that is always the part in terms of design where people stumble, ironically, which is, I think, always very interesting to me, because like thinking in terms of, okay, I have a set of things and how can you adapt that to something slightly different or more interesting things shouldn't be that hard. Like someone already gave you the tools. How do we expand on that? And then it's usually just barely anything. It's just very funny. But like, yeah, that I think, just looking back to the whole Payday 3 thing, I think how that game ended up as it is just like they thought, oh, we need to design things differently because we do not want to be Payday 2 again, you know, without thinking about, hey, why did the ammo system Payday 1 and 2 work like that, and why did it work well? You know, then they never changed shit about the enemies, really. And they were just like, oh, you know, it's just a co-op game. We just have to have some levels and, you know, cross off some stuff like a bank heist, a big bank heist, there's a thing on a bridge, a thing in a warehouse, a thing in a nightclub, and you're like, yeah, that's not how you make a game. Like, just to wrap this up here, I think the first thing you always want to have when making a game is not what genre do I want to have. It's what kind of feeling do I want to convey. And this sounds probably a bit vague, but it's generally the thing you need to think about the most. Because like, yeah, to a degree you probably know like, oh hey, I want to make an action RPG or a shooter and this and this and this and this. But like, again, what is the feeling you want to convey? What is the main vibe of your game? And if you do not work off of that idea, you will never actually end up with something other than a functional, playable thing. But again, the games that people remember, that games that people play a lot, are not just functional gameplay loops. They have that sauce, you know, that extra spice on top that gives you a feeling that the other ones don't. Even if it's just a little bit. Like, here's the thing. You can actually break down, for example, Astrobot, and you would have a very simple, very basic platformer. But then you play Astrobot and you're like, why is this better than most platformers out there? Why is that energy different? Even though you've maybe seen a lot of it already. Because they knew exactly what they wanted to convey with it. Anyway, this was Nioh. See you all tomorrow for more Nioh. Where we're gonna hunt down Mitsunari, and yeah. Again, check out that picture. It's great. I will retweet it again. And yes, see you all then. Goodbye.